friends. Today I'm very close to the Himalayan foothills in Panchkula, Sector 7. These two sectors, Sector 7 and Sector 6, have been like a Mecca and Medina for all geologists. I'll tell the reasons for that later. But today I'm here to speak on the Himalayan Geoheritage. The Himalayan Geoheritage faces a huge threat from the development, so-called development. Well, development is an essential part of the urbanization these days and always, but no development can be against the scientific practices and the geoethical parameters of development, especially if we are doing it in an active, youngest, the most dynamic and the highest mountain range of the world. The ecology of the Himalayas is shared by about 10 countries, and the Himalayan grandeur and the geotourism potential, the geoheritage, the eco-heritage, is the biodiversity, the geodiversity is all shared by the entire humanity. Himalayas belongs to the world. Himalayas is not our personal property. This is a heritage gifted by Mother Nature to the entire humanity. The issue which I'm talking about is the expressways construction in the, I'm sorry for the noise pollution which happened due to a van going with the garbage, but this is my normal practice to come to a park and do this chat with my friends across the world on my YouTube channel, Earth Talks. So, but today I'm in a different setting. I'm in Panchkula. I'm a guest of late S.K. Mohan's family, one of my best friends in life, the biggest mentors and supporters. So with him I went a number of times to Dehradun, Missouri. So coming back to the Himalayan geoheritage issues, about 8 years back, we pointed out that the expressways being made in the Himalayas are being made too much in a hurry and possibly without any geological supervision or background advice. It turned out that the Geological Survey of India had no role. World Institute of Himalayan Geology had no role. I don't know. What about the Road Research Institute of India? Whether they had a role? Well, one presumed that there must be some geologists giving advice to the road builders. But what normal such a construction or a reconstruction or a rearrangement, if it's done, one would expect a notification to the geological community. We are a literate country, we are a nuclear power, we are a space power, we are an IT giant, we are an economic power in making, and surely we have a great cultural heritage which has a great love and affection for the Himalayas. In fact, most of our gods, Mahadev, for instance, we always worship the Himalayas. Himalayas has been a topic for poetry, it's been a topic for romance, it's been a topic for worship. I'm still talking in English because I may be addressing my friends across the world. I'll come back to Hindi because जो हिंदुस्तान में और हिमालय की बात हिंदी में होती है वो अंग्रेजी में नहीं होती है. But nevertheless, I come back to my topic of the geoheritage. About 2006, 25th November. I, by chance, published an article which got published in Current Science. I had sent it from Cincinnati. I was on sabbatical in the University of Cincinnati as a visiting scholar. I'd spoken to the Indian diaspora in the day on a Sunday about the healthy practices of geotourism and geoheritage conservation, which I had seen in the national parks of North America. I was very tempted that this spirit of geoconservation should be taken back home in my country, where we have one of the greatest, the finest landscape, geological landscapes, with a spectrum of all types of rocks and all types of landscapes, all types of stratigraphic horizons, a huge Deccan volcanic province, a huge Himalayan region. What I had spoken in the day, I just quickly typed, and I didn't know where to send it. I just took a chance and sent it to Current Science. There I had spoken that this is a country with a huge geological heritage, and I feel sad that a rich country has poor population, is still struggling after so many years to be a developed country. No problem. My suggestion was the key to our development and affluence lies in proper showcasing in a world-class way of our geoheritage, be it Himalayas, be it Deccan volcanics, be it our Western Ghats or Eastern Ghats, or the Eastern Himalayas, or the island territories. And that article, by chance, was noticed by our ex-president, Dr. Kalam, and ultimately it led to our chat with him. And one youngster, Manjit Majumdar, in Guwahati, was on a similar wavelength, and he happened to be in Delhi, and we went together to meet the President of India in his office. It was a different President of India who was teaching from his office in Rashtrapati Bhavan to some audiences of students in Tamil Nadu. So the chat went on for 45 minutes. Next day we had a meeting arranged by him with the Secretary of Sciences, and at that point of time, in 2007 April, perhaps this wanton destruction of geoheritage in the Himalayas had not commenced. But it was about 10 years back. We were doing field work in Kaushalya River, where we found some of the pillars of this expressway, which they were yet to build this expressway from Pinjore to Timber Trail. It was still going on. We were still using the old road. That they were perhaps in danger of their base being eroded by the river. And we told those builders that watch out, your foundation may cave in because of these pillars. No structure is stronger than the foundation it's built on. Fine. That was just one aspect of the disaster management and the road stability, etc., etc. Soon we found that all the outcrops which had been seen over 250 years of this heritage road section and the heritage railway line, which was built around about 115 years or so, was in danger of complete cover-up. We had seen some bricks put on some unstable slopes. Normal. It's done in all hill stations, all hill roads. Normal, no problem. But we found walls as high as 100 feet, 200 feet, vertical walls made on these rock outcrops, which were our bread and butter of geosciences training and geosciences research. They were covered. Fortunately, God's grace, that all those bricks came tumbling down. There were landslides, and the widened road was half full of rocks. Now, in great frustration, the road makers re-put it. It again fell down. Now they have done one thing. We suggested to them that the slope should be a bit gentle. You cut it a bit gentle so that the slope is stable. 60 degrees, 45 degrees, 50 degrees. Cut it more, let it be stable. And that's how roads become stable over a length of time. And but instead of opting for the scientifically correct and ethical geoethical method, they opted for a vertical face all splattered with concrete. All the rock exposures have been covered with concrete. Now, if you cover a rock exposure with concrete, you're actually going in this country against the advice of the courts. About 25 years back, the courts had ordered you can't hide nature. A paint had been put up on Rohtang and Kullu, Manali, lots of rock exposures, giving advertisements for various business houses. On the court orders, that paint was removed. In a country with an active, proactive judiciary, in the biggest democracy of the world, where rule of law and all ethics and cultural feelings prevail, whatever be. Today, the Himalayas is having expressways made with scientific advice or without scientific advice, we still don't know. But we would like to know who were the geologists involved in it, who did not caution them that these road sections are the books of nature. These are being studied by geologists. Current generation, they were studied by the past generation. There are standard rock sections which are called type sections as per the stratigraphic code of nomenclature and study of the IUGS, etc., the global standards. If these are to be destroyed, the geologists should have been notified so that when the new excavations were made, they had an opportunity to make fresh collections, make fresh studies, and document the new sections. We always welcome landslides, to be very honest. It's not fair to say, but we welcome landslides because we get new things to see. I was in a field trip in Missouri with the students. I have a student who's a faculty now, Seema Verma. Now she is Seema Tejpal. We saw one of the finest trace fossil now identified as Samachnitis, and we had spent 2 days washing that. It had happened in a landslide. So we have no issues with landslides, we have no issues with road construction, road reconstruction, we have no issues with expressways. It's good to have expressways, but one should be hurrying slowly, going by all geoethical norms, and unfortunately, my colleagues now have started saying, "Koi sunta nahi hai, nobody cares for a geological opinion." I simply say one thing, everybody gets the response he or she deserves. If we have no persuasive power, if you have no patience, and you are not dedicated to geoheritage of Himalayas, you will say once or twice and keep quiet. There can be some very big names who have been ignored, fine, but there can be some youngsters. I'm an old man of 72 plus, but there would be some youngsters who would speak out against this random, wanton destruction of geoheritage. Now I come back to the whole issue. I'll speak in Hindi because हिमालय एक धरोहर है धरती के इतिहास की. हिमालय का बनना और हिमालय का उठना, पिछले 1 करोड़ साल में इस हाइट पे आना, और जो तहदार चट्टानें, चाहे वॉल्केनिक चट्टानें हों मसूरी मंडी के पास में, चाहे ग्रेनाइट्स हों या कुछ भी हो, जो चट्टानें हैं हर तरह की, परिवर्तित चट्टानें हैं, आग्नेय चट्टानें हैं, तहदार चट्टानें हैं, सब चट्टानों में धरती के इतिहास का 190 करोड़ साल का इतिहास है. इन चट्टानों में हिमालय की, इन चट्टानों में सारे पेलियो क्लाइमेट्स का, पिछली आइस एजेस का एक इतिहास है. इवोल्यूशन ऑफ लाइफ का इतिहास है. भूवैज्ञानिक जो है धरती के इतिहास के जासूस होते हैं, वो हर चीज़ को जैसे फिंगरप्रिंट देखती है पुलिस, हम भी देखते हैं। अगर उस इतिहास के पन्नों पे आप कंक्रीट पोत देंगे तो क्या करेंगे आप? हमारी इंटरनेशनल जियोलॉजिकल कांग्रेस होने वाली थी, जो बहुत सालों के बाद में हिंदुस्तान को मिली थी। कोरोना के चक्कर में वो टल गई। अदरवाइज फील्ड मीटिंग्स होनी थी ऑल ओवर हिमालयाज, और पूरी दुनिया के भूवैज्ञानिकों को आके वो सेक्शंस देखने थे जो हमारे भूवैज्ञानिकों ने देखे हैं और स्टैंडर्ड्स एस्टैब्लिश किए हैं। अगर वो हो जाती तो हम क्या दिखाते दुनिया को? ये तो बाई चांस अभी होने वाली है 10 दिन में। और ये सब बातें जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, ये मैंने अपने IGC के इंटरनेशनल जियोलॉजिकल कांग्रेस के एब्स्ट्रैक्ट में डाली थी, पर वहाँ पे बोल देने से कुछ होता नहीं है। एक बात है 5 मिनट की, 15 मिनट की हुई, ख़त्म हुई। तो ये वाली बात ख़त्म ना हो जाए, ये मुद्दा जो है जियो हेरिटेज ऑफ हिमालय का ख़त्म ना हो जाए, और जियो हेरिटेज ऑफ हिमालय ऐसे नष्ट ना हो जाए, इसके लिए मेरा दिल तड़पता है। और मुझे मालूम है सैकड़ों भूवैज्ञानिकों के दिल में इस इशू पे बहुत बड़ी उत्तेजना है, आग लगी है हमको, क्योंकि एक इतिहास है, एक रोमांच है हिमालय के इतिहास का। 190 करोड़ साल के लगभग का इतिहास है, वो ढक दिया आपने छोड़ दिया इन ठेकेदारों पे कि इसको कर दो। अरे वैज्ञानिक तरीका था, आप स्लोप को थोड़ा जेंटल कर देते और स्लोप चलता। कहीं कहीं लैंडस्लाइड होते हैं जहाँ पे थोड़ी ईंटें लगा देते, कंक्रीट लगा दिया 1 मीटर मोटा, कई जगह पे 2 मीटर मोटा कंक्रीट है, 100 मीटर का हाइट का। एक भूवैज्ञानिक उस पर क्या करेगा, क्या देखेगा? कंक्रीट को स्टडी करेगा। अब जो लग गया, क्या उसको आप तोड़ेंगे? क्या कोर्ट कोई ऑर्डर देगा कि इसको ब्लास्ट करिए, हटाइए? You cannot cover nature. If you cannot cover the mountains with paint, how can you cover it with concrete? It's so agitating, so disturbing that you can cover an active, valuable mountain archives, the archives of geological history of Himalaya, with concrete and get away with it. And all the elders in the geological realm of the country, they are feeling, कोई सुनता नहीं हमारी. Why? I blame them also, I blame myself too, and I blame the whole system. I think it's time to come to create a mass awakening and interest in the geological history of Himalayas, the geological heritage of the entire country, and use these rocks as awakening education medium. And सबको हम जागरूक करें इसके बारे में. जब जनता जागरूक हो तो नेताओं को भी जागरूक कर देती है, मीडिया को भी जागरूक कर देती है, और वो सब इस मामले में रुचि लेने लगते हैं. तो ये कहना कि कोई सुनता नहीं है, ये एक वैलिड हो सकता है. बुज़ुर्ग लोग हैं, फ्रस्ट्रेट हो गए, मैं भी बुज़ुर्ग हूँ, फ्रस्ट्रेट मैं भी हूँ, पर क्या हम हार मानेंगे? नहीं. हम इसमें अपनी आने वाली पीढ़ियों को, वो क्या सोचेंगे हमारे बारे में कि हम बैठे थे यहाँ पे, हम जिंदा थे, मरे हुए थे, बोल नहीं पा रहे थे. क्यों नहीं बोल पा रहे थे? बोलने से क्या डर है? मैं भी तो यहाँ खड़ा होकर बोल रहा हूँ. मैंने हर जगह बोला है इस इशू पे, मैंने अखबार में भी बोला है. दो तीन अखबारों ने मेरे सामने एक एक पन्ने के इस पे पूरे कवर किया है कि क्या हो रहा है इन एक्सप्रेसवेज में. एक्सप्रेसवेज बनाने ज़रूरी हैं, हम एक्सप्रेसवे के खिलाफ तो नहीं बोल रहे हैं. एक्सप्रेसवे तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. नोटिफाई किया जाना चाहिए था जियोलॉजिकल कम्युनिटी को. जो नोडल एजेंसीज हैं उनको इन्फॉर्म किया जाना चाहिए था. वर्ल्ड इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हिमालयन जियोलॉजी, जियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, ऑल IITs, ऑल जियोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट्स of the universities and global community, they should have been notified that we are reconstructing our highways in the Himalayas. Come on, you have opportunity to make new discoveries and new documentation. बहुत सारे natural history museum जो गिर रहा था उससे बन जाते थे, हमने वो नीचे फेंक दिए, नीचे की इकोलॉजी को ख़राब किया, उन गाँवों को खतरे में डाला. और अभी मैं शिमला गया था साइंस डे पे, मैंने देखा एक्सकेवेशन ऐसे पागलपंथी से चल रही है. यूं करके अगर ये हाथ से देखिए तो ऐसे करके कटिंग हो रही है. जो कैंपस या घर यहाँ हैं वो धड़ाम से नीचे आने वाले. I made a video and I handed over to the private university whose campus is being threatened by this road widening. Road widening is a must, should be done, but it cannot be an excuse to put lives and property and the geoheritage to danger. Destroy geoheritage. प्रॉपर्टी भी बन जाएगी, बट जो कुदरत ने बनाया था, जो मदर नेचर का गिफ्ट था हमारे को, हमारी इस जनरेशन को, उसको हम दफन कर देंगे. These are the graveyards of geology which are being created. This has to stop. I'm appealing to the Indian geoscientific community, the total media in India, and all the masses across 1.4 billion Indians, that this is your geoheritage. This is your heritage. This is heritage of the generations of Indians who are coming. So let's save it. Let's communicate with those who are not knowing the repercussions of it. To blame them is not fair, because it was our duty to make them aware. It was our duty to communicate. Surely we have failed in this communication. So let's not blame, no blame game. A solution lies in stopping this cover up with the concrete and finding a solution to expose what has been covered up. The other solution, easier way is, I say, engineering geologist. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm practically a paleontologist, but I'm into disaster management. सीधी सी बात है, आप ये स्लोप रखिए, जेंटल स्लोप, जो गिरेगा नहीं. गिरेगा तो उसकी मरम्मत हो जाएगी. तो अगर ये खड़ा स्लोप काटेंगे आप, उसके बाद में उसको कंक्रीट से पोत देंगे, not done. So my countrymen and my fellow scientists in India and abroad, we need to join together to save Himalayan geoheritage from destruction. We need to conserve it, come what may.